Hey, good morning, Paranormal Army. This is Cody. So I'm back and reviewed the video I posted of our stories. I noticed my portion was blackened and had no audio or visuals to it, and so that last 15 minutes of the video was gone, and that was my portion of my story video. So I figured today I will jump on here and I will record another one for you guys so you can hear my experiences. I believe I left off at the little boy on the video. That's before it went black. And so that little boy that committed suicide in my house, he ended up hanging himself in my room. He ended up terrorizing me the whole time I was there. And he's the one that initially caused a lot of the knocking, the tapping, and all the doors moving, cupboards opening and stuff. He initially was the one that caused all that. But enough about that stuff. Let's jump right into it, guys. Paranormal Adventures here with our Stories channel. My name is Cody Emmons. I'm 26 years old. I have had multiple spiritual encounters, but the one that stuck out to me the most is one I'm about to tell you guys right now. Okay, so my house was a 2-story white house across the street from a museum and high school down in Glenns Ferry, Idaho. My house was the kindergarten portion of the high school that was behind the museum. So those two buildings have always gave me chills, you know what I mean, just because I stay abandoned right across the street from my house. It's always dark, no lights on, ever. And so I believe the kid who hung himself in my house was part of that school system, is because he was an orphan as far as all the research I could find, and so he kind of stayed with the school. But he eventually was tortured, beaten. You know, he had a very bad childhood, and I do warn you guys, I'm sorry, this is kind of graphic. But this poor kid was bullied to the point where he didn't want to live anymore. He was 8 years old. You know what I mean? Bullying is a really bad thing. Okay? And if your kids are getting bullied, try to reach out. You know, try to get them help. Talk to the parents of the people that bullying them. You know, stuff like that. It's a very bad thing. But ultimately, this kid's bullying has caused him to hang himself in my bedroom. It was because he was so distraught, couldn't make any friends. Alright, so the night I want to talk to you guys about, it was like middle of winter, so it was fairly cold, you know what I mean, that night. Everything was awfully quiet, you know, nothing was going on. All my windows, doors were shut, you know, and so I went to bed, you know, I had school in the morning. So I went to bed, you know, about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up to tapping sounds. Just quiet tapping sounds, you know, nothing major, so I figured, you know, it's just a wind blowing a branch at the window or something, you know what I mean? So I rolled over, fell back asleep. About an hour later, this is when things get truly terrifying. Alright, so I was laying in bed, about 4:30 in the morning, and I heard boom, 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 right next to me. On the other side of the wall, because I had a room, so here's my room, the other room's right here, wall's here, my bed was right there. And so I heard banging on that other wall inside my head. I heard it, jumped out of bed, woke up. My heart was pounding. Boom, 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 boom. What the heck was that? What the heck was that? You know what I mean? Heard flipping my lights, look around. Nothing's in my room. And so I opened the door, walked into that other room. Nothing was there. Nothing was in there. It's completely silent. And so I'm like, what the hell? Okay, and so I went to lay down, and I had trouble sleeping all night that night. But I could swear I'd hear footsteps coming up the stairs. And walking into that room and pacing the room, to turn around, walking back out, followed by the door shutting and it going back downstairs. And I kept doing that all night long. And I'm right here next to it. My door's right there. You know what I mean? And it is shut. I shut it, locked it. You know, but this thing can come through and get to my room anytime it wanted. But it never did. It proceeded to torment me for weeks before I actually initially saw him. So basically you would run upstairs, walk around that room, run back downstairs, run back upstairs, walk around that room, pound on the wall right next to my head, scare me, to initially run back downstairs and everything would be quiet. Okay, and so the last night I finally said, I have enough of this, I'm tired of you fucking with me. You know what I mean? So I wake up out of bed, I run into that room, I tell this thing to shut up, I'm trying to sleep. You know what I mean? And then I felt kind of silly doing it. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm talking to nothing. You know what I mean? But the attacks initially didn't stop. They would actually move further or upstairs because I had another bedroom over here down the hallway. And I had a closet room on this side where the stairs go down, and it looks like a wall. You know, you can't really know what's there, but it leads into a huge closet room, a massive closet room. And so initially, once it started getting worse, that door would eventually get left open, and no one really knows this door is here unless you live in my house. Then you know it's there. It's because there's an access point in the bedroom over there into that closet through a little narrow, like a thin wall you have to crawl through sideways to get through, and it leads into that closet room. That's initially how I found the door, is because I saw the light coming through and I opened the door. I was like, oh cool, a secret door. Creepy, right? But initially, all the hauntings moved upstairs after a while. And it would get worse. He'd start pounding on the walls, the doors. He would initially start dropping things on my floor, opening my door, slamming the cupboards that were along my wall, the back wall here. Initially start slamming those. They're the ones that open up kind of like trunk style, I guess. And so he'd start slamming those, and this happened for weeks. Tormented, I'm scared, you know what I mean? Eventually I tell my mom what's going on, and she eventually told me, hey, that's the reason I moved downstairs, is because of all that weird stuff that was happening, because it was happening to me too. And so she confirmed it, that it was happening to her. But she didn't believe it, you know what I mean? She was having a very hard time believing it. And then I saw him. It was a little, like, 4-foot tall kid, and a little boy, wearing a blue shirt, blue pants, like a dark, really dark blue pants, almost black, wearing those. And I'd see him run upstairs, go to the landing around the safety rail here, and he'll peek around the corner and look at me, and just sit there and stare at me, and then just disappear. Then he'd disappear, and then finally I had enough, and I asked him, what do you want? Why are you doing this? Why are you tormenting us? And then eventually, you know, I could never hear him, you know what I mean? He's a ghost. You know what I mean? I didn't have the right gear to do what I do now. So I never actually understood or knew what he said to me, if he even did. But I eventually told him, enough's enough. This is my house. You know, I live here. You do not. You are dead. I'm alive. It's my turn. You know what I mean? I have to set my ground rules in order to get this entity to kind of get under control. You know, and eventually he did calm down and eventually stopped bothering us. You know what I mean? Eventually just went about his walking up downstairs and running around the bedroom. Instead of, that's the only thing he did, you know, I was comfortable with that. I'd rather deal with that and then have doors slam and stuff. Okay, and that's the first spiritual encounter I've had in that house. But there turns out there was another spirit in the house as well. And he was initially the one that would actually open the doors. But this dude, okay guys, I'm actually sort of warning you real quick. This is super graphic. It's pretty brutal. It's a really fast way of dying, but it's messy. You know what I mean? It's bad for the family members, stuff like that. But let's jump into it. You guys have been warned. Alright, so this guy right here used to live, so my house was here. Say this is my house here. This house was over here, right next to it, and then the main road ran actually through this way. And so that house over there, someone shot themselves in that house because of a depression. I don't know exactly why he did it, but I knew he shot himself right here underneath the jawline, and it blew out this side of his face. Initially, I would actually end up seeing him and capturing him on camera. I actually do not have that phone that had that photo. It got broken and destroyed and lost. But I did end up capturing this thing, a guy in a scream, looks like kind of like a sandy figure, all sand colored. Half of his face was gone, and he was in a scream. Really distorted looking, you know what I mean, the photo was initially. So, you could never tell, but I ended up seeing him a lot throughout my time living in that house. And this is going to conclude my story, guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys have not, please like and subscribe. And thank you, Paranormal Army, for watching this portion of my video. Thank you. Bye. Before I leave out here, guys, I want to mention the suicide hotline, guys. So if any of you guys are suicidal, just know that there are people out there that can professionally help you and actually probably potentially save you. So if you guys are struggling with depression, suicide, anything like that, there's a suicide prevention line down in the description below. And if you guys are suicidal, go ahead and check that out, and hopefully they can help you.